Hello students, welcome to the channel etube Academy, and today we are going to start the poem The Quarrel of your book Honeysuckle, which is composed by Eleanor Farjeon. Before going into the detailed explanation of this poem, let's know something about the poet. Eleanor Farjeon was born in London on 13th Feb 1881, the daughter of Benjamin Farjeon and Maggie Farjeon. Eleanor came from a literary family. Her two younger brothers, Joseph and Herbert Farjeon, were writers, while the oldest, Harry Farjeon, was a composer. She was even known as Tom Fool, Mary Andrew, Chimera. She wrote children's stories and fantasy stories, and soon became popular among both children and adults. Her notable works are Cbse and Ginger in 1920, The Little Book Room in 1955, Morning Has Broken in 1957. The Farjeon Award is awarded for outstanding work in children's literature. She died in 1965. Students, now let's talk about the poem, The Quarrel. First, discuss what is quarrel. The word quarrel means any angry dispute, or when we have some disagreement over something, that is called quarrel. If we talk about in Hindi, we can say कि आपस में हमारे बीच में जो झगड़ा होता है या किसी बात को लेकर के बहस होती है, that is called quarrel. Okay, so this poem Quarrel is all about the dispute between the siblings, means brothers and sisters. The poet talks about the love hidden behind the quarreling of siblings, as we fight with each other, but we cannot live without each other. Usually, brothers and sisters have a love-hate relationship. I give you one example. I always called my brother a copycat and dog. Then the World War III started in my house. I constantly argued with my brother, but when someone else picked on him or started arguing with him, I always stood up for him. I used to say to others that only I could make fun of him. What could I say? Actually, I love my brother a lot. There are numerous incidents, students, of such great bonding of love. In this poem also, the poet speaks about the quarrel between her and her brother. She talks about the way it started. The quarrel began as a slight action which later got changed into a serious one. They claimed themselves to be right. At the same time, they blamed the other for being wrong. They have fought in the afternoon, which was a sad one for both of them. When the night came, the brother of the poet came to her and said he was wrong. This made the poet realize her mistakes. She understood that since her brother has come forward to end the fight, therefore it is he who is the right among them. Okay, students, so let's start the explanation of this poem. First of all, I am reciting this poem for you. You please listen to it very carefully. Here is the poem. I quarreled with my brother. I don't know what about. One thing led to another, and somehow we fell out. The start of it was light, and the end of it was strong. He said he was right. I knew he was wrong. We hated one another. The afternoon turned black. Then suddenly my brother thumped me on the back and said, "Oh, come along. We can't go on all night." I was in the wrong, so he was in the right. So friends, this was the recitation of this poem. Now let's start the explanation of this poem. First of all, we are going to discuss some of the difficult words of this poem so that we can understand the meaning of this poem very clearly. Number one word, which is in the first line, that is quarreled. And we have already discussed what is the meaning of this poem's name and what is the meaning of this word quarrel. Okay, so just like that, the meaning of this word quarreled means clashed. It means when we had any kind of angry argument. So here the meaning of this word quarreled is having any kind of angry argument. Second word is, which may be difficult, that is fell out. The meaning of fell out means again the same, quarreled. Okay, and then the next word may be slight. The meaning of slight is any kind of petty issue, or we can call it any kind of small issue. Okay, now come to next one. I think in this paragraph no other difficult word will be for you. So come to the second paragraph. We hated one another. You may be knowing very much this word. Okay, hated means when we don't like someone, that is called, it means when we dislike someone, that is called hate. So we hated one another, and here in the next line there is one more word, turned black. Yes, this phrase may be difficult for you, so let me clear it. Turned black means it got spoiled. It got spoiled. Okay, so that is the meaning of this word. Another word may be like, let's find out the another word, that is thumbed. Thumbed means patted. Okay, so that is the meaning of this word, patted. Okay, so here we have discussed the difficult words of this poem. Now let's go through the explanation of this poem. The first line is saying this thing, that I quarreled with my brother. So who is I here? I is the poet. We have already discussed about the poet. Okay, so the poet quarreled with her brother. Okay, and she doesn't know what about. It means she never knew the reason for what she was quarreling with her brother. Okay, so that is the meaning of this line. She doesn't know what was the reason behind that quarreling. Okay, and next, one thing led to another. It means the things were going one after another. The things were getting changed. Okay, moving on. It means she never knew what was happening, and one after another things were going on there. And somehow we fell out. Somehow we fell out. I have already discussed this word with you. Fell out means quarreled, and somehow we fell out means somehow we started quarreling. The start of it was slight. Yes, the start of that fighting was very slight. Was very slight means was very small. It means it was not a very big issue on what we were quarreling. It was very small issue. But the end of it was very strong. The end of it was a very strong means the end means was very much violent and very much aggressive, and it was so much strong, it was so much fierce, it was so much aggressive that we were not talking to each other after that. And what did he say then after? He said he was right and I knew he was wrong. Here in this poem or in this line, the poet is telling us that his brother was telling that he was right, but the poet knew very well that he was wrong. Her brother was very much wrong. So this is the meaning of this first paragraph. I think this paragraph meaning is quite clear to you. Now come to second paragraph. We hated one another. Yes, we hated one another means we were disliking to each other. After that incident, after that quarreling, we were disliking each other. The afternoon turned black means the afternoon got spoiled. It got totally spoiled. It got totally spoiled for what? And because of what reason? Because of that tensed atmosphere in that moment. Okay, because of that unhappy or unpleasant atmosphere. Okay, we were not talking to each other. That's why the whole afternoon got turned black. The whole afternoon got spoiled. Okay, so they were totally very much intense mood, and that's why they were spoiling, they were destroying their afternoon. Then suddenly my brother thumped me on the back. Then suddenly, the poet is telling this thing that then suddenly means at once her brother came to her and he thumped her on her back. He thumped means he patted. You know very well that what is the meaning of pat? When we just pat on the head also, and when we pat on the back also. Okay, so that is called patting. So her brother patted on her back and he said also this thing, oh come along. Oh come along means, oh just leave it alone. Just it means remove all the kind of things there from the mind. we should start in a new way. The brother was saying this thing. It means you can find here a new change, a kind of change there. Okay. So next line, we can't go on all night. They know very well that they have already spoiled their whole afternoon. They have already spoiled their whole day. So they could not just take it for the night there. Okay. So that's why the brother is saying this thing, that they cannot go on all night. It means they cannot carry this kind of tense mood throughout the night there. And that's why he made this comment. I was in the wrong. Who is making this statement? The brother is making this statement. The brother is saying this thing, that I was in the wrong. He was accepting his mistake. He was saying this thing, that he knew very well that he was wrong, and that's why he admitted his mistakes. Okay. And so I think now you have understood the meaning of this poem clearly. And now let's talk about the next thing of this poem. So friends, now we are going to discuss the rhyming pair and the rhyming scheme of this poem. Okay. So you know very well how to find out rhyming pair or rhyming words. Okay. Maybe possible that some of you are not knowing how to find out. So I'm just taking this session for that. So to find out the rhyming scheme of any poem, what we have to do first, we should underline the last word of that poem's each line. Okay. Here you can see this thing, that in the first line, which is the last word is the brother, and in the second line about, then in the third line another, and we will keep on in this way. Okay. Like strong, right, wrong, another, black, brother, back, along, night, wrong, and right. Okay. So we have underlined the things there, and now we will discuss about the rhyming scheme of this poem. So we have underlined the last word of each line. Okay. Now we will find out the rhyming scheme. And what is the way to find out rhyming scheme? Let me tell you. So you can see here that the first word is brother. Okay. It has a different sound than the second word. You can see the second word is about. So both the words and both the sounds are quite different. So for brother, we will write here A. Okay. And about sound is quite different than the brother. So we will give here B. Okay. Now let's go to the third word. The third word is another, and it is quite similar to brother. So here in front of this word another, we will write A again. Why? Because it is rhyming with this brother, another brother. Both the words are rhymed. Okay. Then come to the next word. The next word is fall out. Fall out is quite similar to, it means the sound is similar to about. So in front of it again we will write B. Then slide is totally different than A and B, and that's why we will give it the name that is C. A strong is again different. Okay. So we will give it D. And right, yes, right is quite similar to C. Wrong, that is quite similar to D. So students, you can see here that in this manner, how we are just finding out the rhyming scheme. We are putting a word with the first word. Okay, that is brother. And the second word is quite different. That's why we are giving the name B here. Okay. So in this way, we have find out the rhyming scheme of this paragraph. Okay. And what is the rhyming scheme of this paragraph now? A, B, C, D, C, D. Okay. A, B, C, D, C, D. So that is the rhyming scheme of this paragraph. The same thing we will do with the second paragraph. Another, that is A, and black, that is quite different. Then we will give it B. Brother is matching with another, so we will give it A. Back is matching with black, so we will give it B. Along is quite different, so then we will give it C. Night is again different. And then D. Wrong is quite similar to along, so we will give it the name C. And right is quite similar to night, and we will give it again to D. Always remember, students, that in the test you may be asked to find out the rhyming scheme paragraph wise or poem wise. Friends, at the end we can say that the quarrel is common among brothers and sisters. These little arguments are considered healthy and prove that there is a good relationship between the siblings. I believe that even though brothers and sisters fight most of the time, they love each other, and you can't find friends like the ones you are related to. So keep quarreling with your siblings and keep loving them. So friends, that's all for today. See you in the next class, and if you like this video, keep pressing like button and subscribe our channel, etube Academy. Thank you, students.